A good day to all of you high school students. I assume the ears lent onto me are ears of high school students from Sacred Heart School Ateneo de Cebu, which I consider an institution with innovative students. Okay, so before I get right into this, I would ask you to wonder and ask yourself some thoughts that are worth to be in mind. Have you ever wondered why people get to sing? Why do people tap in tables to create patterns of sound thinking that it looks cool? Or if you go a bit deeply, have you ever wondered the thought of the reason why some people use earphones, especially when they are alone? Or if you get to the significant side, why is this science or art still on the stream despite the changes of generations? Those questions would end up of you guys thinking that all I meant was music. According to the Webster Dictionary, music is the science or art of ordering tones or sounds in succession, combination, and in temporal relationships to produce a composition. If we look back in the history of music, it was already noticed way back in the medieval times where it was in influence with the church. Skipping ahead to now, it is still enriching the lives of humanity in its own ways. It is really interesting to be informed about the science of music and its effects on the human brain. The science of music here is not about ethnomusicology, which is a study of music in its cultural context, but it is how it works and how we humans interact onto it. According to Khalsa, music is both art and science, where it is science since it uses mathematical principles and logic. Well, it is definitely correct. Music can't be just something that has a sound on it. It has its properties that are so detailed with the elements of pitch, tempo, and rhythm. To a student's view at a point, music is science with its vibrations, and in these vibrations, waves are present. Considering these definitions of music, we can say that it is really a science and an art with the elements like the tone. But can that be the only answer to our wonder on why up until today it is still alive and even more than alive? The interaction of humans to music has a lot to tell when it comes to its effects on our body, especially to our brain. As we scroll down in Facebook or research in the web, there are sources that gives you 50 plus interesting facts about music. And a number of them are facts about music affecting our body. It affects our emotions, which in case to our mood, that the way we think smart, and to reduce stress with more productivity. Listening to music can increase the release of dopamine in our brain. It is a neurotransmitter that controls the release, the pressure we feel. Goldstein mentioned that music can invoke the deepest emotions in people and help us process grief, fear, sadness, and resentment. Even if these emotions are held on a subconscious level. Rhythm theory has the notion of mental rotation. It is the ability in rotating 2 and 3-dimensional images in our brain, where it is produced in the cerebellum, enhancing the ability related to spatial temporal reasoning. From music, some disorders are proven to be treated, like people with autism and other mental related including depression. This leads to us in connecting on our view of music as an innovation if we correlate it with technology. As the way we live evolves, so it does with music, which has its evolution from ancient to modern times. Music can be innovated with the advancement of today, getting the juice advantages of it to us, the interacting humans. With all these statements I've spoke revolving around music, I deeply encourage all of you to listen to music as a hobby or something that makes it part of your daily life. I know a number of you love music and earphones are your best bud early in the morning or before going to bed. To the high school students here upcoming to be in STEM, I'd have to say that STEM students are innovators in a wide variety of science and how technology advances more and more, where music can be something up for and can be used to help build better lives and improve the way we live in this world. Thank you.
Have you ever wondered why we study for at least 18 years of our life? Have you ever contemplated and asked yourself, what are you doing in school? What would you be after 10 years? What is your purpose in life? What can you do with these skills, and how are you going to contribute if there are 7.7 billion people that one doesn't really seem like it matters? If at some point in your life you've asked these questions, then you've asked the right questions. Humans are driven by knowledge. We are constantly asking questions, which we try our best to uncover these mysteries. This is why we are where we are today. The curiosity of our ancestors led them to be able to use stones to their advantage, and that was the beginning of our long journey to innovation. But before we dive into this talk, into what this talk is really about, let me define what it means to innovate. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, to innovate means to introduce as or as if new. This basically means discovering new ways of doing things. New ways that make it easy and convenient for humans. How do we really know? How do we really innovate? What does it take to be able to innovate? Why do we have to study long math problems and complex science when our ancestors were able to do it without any knowledge about these fundamentals? Well, the keyword is right there, fundamentals. In our world today, so many things have been discovered, and so many things are yet to be too. We are able to discover new things. We have to be and to be able to discover new things, we have to be able to understand our surroundings and its fundamentals first. One of our latest journeys to another historical breakthrough in the making is our expedition to Mars and its plans to colonize it. Mars, together with Venus, is the closest planet to Earth, making it a hotspot for scientific experiments and future plans. It has the closest environment to Earth, which makes it even easier to colonize. But just like every other planet in our solar system, it does not have a vast life support system unlike Earth. Recently, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or NASA, launched a new mission named InSight, short for Interior Exploration using seismic investigations, geodesy, and heat transport. This mission is tasked to gather Mars's geological data and transmit it back to Earth so that we can better understand the interior and seismic activity of Mars. This does not only apply to how Mars is inside, but that can also help us strengthen our theories and the formation of our rocky planets. Because now we have another sample to the basis of our theories on. You see, the mission did not start because humans told themselves that we will observe Mars's inner space. The mission started by the underlying questions that the scientists asked themselves. It all started when we looked to the skies and asked ourselves what this bright dot in the sky is. And now this question created a butterfly effect, bringing with it a myriad of questions to be answered. Basic research is the fundamentals of STEM. As STEM students, we are able to ask ourselves simple questions, just like what I mentioned in the beginning. And with these simple questions, we create more, making it more complex over time, leading to innovation.
What do we usually say when we hear someone admitting to smoking marijuana? We immediately stereotype them as criminals that are on the news. Some people are pretty aware about the entire thing about legalizing marijuana. Marijuana, also known as cannabis, is not legalized. Smoking tobacco apparently is legalized, but not marijuana. When cigarettes are known to kill people year per year, when cannabis has no recorded deaths at all. In fact, cannabis has so much good effects that it outweighs the bad effects that it was legalized for. Tobacco has way more bad effects than cannabis as a whole. So what is the point of cannabis being available to all in the first place? Medical marijuana exists, but what is the point of it honestly, being available to the people who need it the most? In fact, everybody should be able to use it. The high that cannabis provides can be used as an aid to those that are stressed about everything. It helps in relieving stress, not only that, but can be a mood stabilizer, since cannabis is all about messing your head in more ways than one. Cannabis provides the best mental health care for students with depression, stress, and severe mood swings that don't allow them to focus at class at all. However, the after effects of cannabis being used like this can be quite subjective. You can't predict exactly how potent a drug like cannabis would affect a person, since everybody has different high judging from the experiences from other people. An article by a website called NCBI clearly knows the truth about tobacco, and that would be that tobacco smoking has no health benefits, none. It can be argued that nicotine, one of the thousands of compounds in tobacco smoke, can have positive effects on some cognitive functions and may even confer some neuroprotection. But getting nicotine from tobacco products may be linked to sucking on a tailpipe to get oxygen. It's there, but it's not going to do you any good. Yet tobacco is legally sold in virtually every country in the world. After decades of understanding its harm, it remains not only legal, but highly accessible and profitable. Besides that, a prime example of a major health benefit that outweighs everything bad that cannabis is known for would be that one chemical found in marijuana, called cannabidiol, prevents cancer from spreading. Researchers at California Pacific Medical Center in San Francisco that was reported in 2007. Cannabidiol stops cancer by turning off a gene called ID1. The study published in the journal Molecular Cancer Therapeutics found that cancer cells make more copies of this gene than non-cancerous cells, and it helps them spread through the body. Researchers studied breast cancer cells in the lab that had high expression levels of ID1 and treated them with cannabidiol. After treatment, the cells had decreased ID1 expression and were less aggressive spreaders. We actually legalized cannabis for medical and recreational use only. Other than that, it should be banned because it would cause public panic for those that still see it as a dangerous drug. For those that still see it as a dangerous drug, when in fact it all depends on the person using the drug. It just so happens criminals who use the drug are publicized for it, while normal people that use it don't get publicized for it. So the media twists the feeble minds of parents and elders, thinking that drugs are really that terrible, that you should keep your kids away from it, and it makes you a bad person, when in fact, for that is much deeper reason than that. These people are much kinder than the criminals we see getting caught for the uses of drugs. That is my speech. Thank you.
As technology evolved throughout the years, it has made a lot of technological advancements in the world. It particularly helped education in ways that learning can be faster and mobile. But as technology helps the students, the level of education also increases due to technological advancement. Students nowadays can't cope up with the tiring and sleep-depriving tasks, projects, and tests that are given to them. It has resulted to students not being able to replenish their energy they used for a day because of the tiring tasks they are given. This topic brought me the drive to research and study the effects of sleep deprivation to high school students. As a student, I tried to experience what it was like to be sleep deprived firsthand so that I can know what it does to our body. I planned to make this experiment last for 3 days, but it was impossible since my body needed its rest, so I did a day only. When I lacked sleep for a day, my body felt light and my senses were dulled. But when nightfall came, my body suddenly felt heavy and it wanted to rest. To support this happening, one study shows that sleep deprivation can noticeably affect people's performance, including their ability to think clearly, react quickly, and form memories. Sleep deprivation also affects mood, leading to irritability, problems with relationships, especially for children and teenagers, and depression. To prevent this from happening, we must be knowledgeable to what sleep deprivation is and how we should avoid it, since sleep holds a major factor to keeping our body healthy and strong. As for students, it is right for them to manage their time wisely, since health is more important than grades. Time management is one of many solutions in order not to sacrifice sleep for work. Thank you.